about to be the black sheep in the family. I work as a coach and I speak with a lot of people that are the black sheep. And I felt really interesting that we can find each other. And I'm happy to be the black sheep. But I'm gonna explain to you a little bit more in this episode because many people doesn't understand us and we most of the time doesn't understand ourselves because we question ourselves many times. Why do I have to go to this tough, hard journey? Why? It's always why. And we always have a lot of trauma in our baggage. So I hope you enjoy to listen to this episode and you can push in my link after, of course, because I have a lot of different offers in my webpage. If you want to become a coach to help other people, or if you want to book a coaching with me. But enjoy this episode. Like a sore thumb from your family, then I have some good news for you. To start this talk, I think it's very important to ask ourselves, where did this predicament of the black sheep of the family come from? And it comes from the natural way of human beings. As humans, we are social and we have a need deep down, wherever we are consciousness of it or not. Belonging, of being accepted, not only by our families, but our friends, our peers, by our colleagues. We need to be accepted. But importantly, we want to be accepted by those who are supposed to give us the most love in the world. And that's our family. And black sheeps, most of the time, are stripped away from that they are belonging and they are rejected by families. For some, it might because their personality stands out a little bit more. And for some of us, it's because we values of the way that we view the world, our opinions, our sexualities, and so many more topics like that. And for most of us, especially us, children, we tend to suppress those differences in order to be accepted, even to be slightest, by those who are supposed to love us unconditionally. In other words, and to be completely blunt, a lot of us start to live a life for most of our childhood, teenage years, and even early adulthood, and for some of us, we even try to hide our true identity for most of our lives. That's very unfortunate, but it's true. We usually notice this very early on. For me, personally, it was when I was 4, 5 years old. I used to always sense this feeling of rejection, fascination at the same time from my parents. A sense of fascination of how their own child can be so different from them, yet a sense of rejection of the unknown, of what doing this child might end up doing later on. And now that I think about it, I'm not sure if that's what's caused my extreme introversion later on. But I'm sure it was a big play in my life, in my teenager years. My views on religion were straight up disrespectful to them, on my views on to relationships and life and how I want to conduct my life, very straight up disrespectful. And for so long as a teenager and as a child, I tried to debate my way of seeing things, my way of understanding things. But of course, it was in vain. At some point, I started understanding that it's very hypocritical of me to want them to accept my views if I didn't accept theirs. And it was very hypocritical of me to want to change them but not want them to change me. So then, after this realization, us, the black sheep, are left with two choices of pain. One is the pain of no belonging, and the two is the pain of hiding truly, who you truly are for me. It was the later change in my views, and my opinion was out of questions, because then I would be hiding my truth, and that would cause too much damage for the future. The pain of not belonging was a bit too much for me to handle, the sensitive person that I am, so I choose to hide from who I am, from those who don't accept it, or those who don't agree with it. I decided to take on myself and keep everything that I think to myself. I wanted to stop being looked at it like it was an alien who just came from Venus and speaking a foreign language. And I wanted to be accepted just a little bit more, and that's how I became the introvert of the family. As um, as I like to indicate, I am now introverted, and I want to tell you at the end how much of a blessing that is in disguise. As a family curse, instead of trying to find solution, to find a middle ground with my family, I decided to find a different approach. Whenever, in the rare occasion that I was having conversation with one of my family members, instead of point blank saying that I disagreed, I would ask prominent questions that I thought would help them see a different way or a different side of things. I'm not sure if it ever worked or if it ever will, but it did make me feel better, because then I was sharing some of me, but without really shocking anyone. I just wanted to say my piece in the form of a question, but then, of course, deep down I thought what I thought, and I felt what I felt. That just gave me peace for a while, and it worked very long time. Because let's be real, when you are so opinionated about certain things like me, how can you keep your opinion? Silent for so long for me, it was truly impossible. So I just found my ways to sneak in my little opinions here and there, without really making it too obvious, but subtle, so it still wanted to belong. And I had no choice but to belong. When we were children, we start to find certain ways to cope, and most of the time it's because trauma, because we are unable to find the true healthy ways to cope. When we are adults and we have the time to reflect on our past, we start to accept who we truly are. So let me tell you this. If you are watching this or listen to this, you're the black sheep of your family. You're the most likely the chosen one. You're most likely the empath of the family. And you're most likely the person with the most potential in your family. Environment that we were born in is definitely for a reason. If we learn to heal from our trauma of being not accepted, if you learn to utilize our potential, then let me tell you, we might just as well open Pandora box. We were born to stand out, not to fit in. And being born in a family that doesn't accept you is just a metaphor of that. You are here to challenge a certain perspective. You are most certainly a creative, an empath, a person with so much potential to change the things, whatever that's on the small scale or on the big scale. If you're still a little bit skeptical about what I'm saying, ask yourself, this wouldn't it have been easier for me to be born in a family that accept me. Yes, and have it be easier life of it had been an easier life, of course, if we have been happy childhood, happy teenagers, teen years, understanding with the family, love and happiness and sharing. But let me tell this, no greatness has been born from an easy life. You, the black sheep, are standing out for a reason. Your thoughts, your values, your personality, your opinions, your empathic side, your creativity, and all of these things are going to be useful for a higher purpose, for a bigger purpose. Whatever you discover is now or later, and the sooner you heal from the trauma of being the black sheep, and the sooner you start understanding yourself, you start understanding those values, you start understanding why you feel a certain way, and you start to elevate yourself. Spirituality, mentality, physicality, then you will excel in whatever it is that you choose to do. And from a spiritual perspective, your higher self and the universe put you up to this task and put you exactly in your family in order for you to excel, because they know that you are capable of things other may not be capable of. As long as you believe in it, as long as you try to reach your potential, and as long as you find your way to cope with the trauma that you have lived, then you will live up to the potential. And this is just my opinion. But I find that the black sheep of the family most likely are spiritual, and they are in need of spirituality, and they believe in the universe, because there are usually impacts, and impacts go with feeling, they go with the spirits. And all I have to say to you is, don't waste the potential, don't try to change who you are, no matter how extreme that may be. Listen to that intuition, to that voice in your head that tells you that maybe we need to be doing this instead, or maybe we need to create in this way. Listen to it, open up to it. I don't want to see you waste your seat of potential by clinging to the past and clinging to the trauma and victimizing and thinking that is not fair. That you were born to be in that world and into the environment, and yes, it's not fair, but you can do it if you are born into it and you learn to heal it and you learn to cut the ties. If need, sometimes we need to cut the ties. It's not all the time, but sometimes we have to. And when we do it, we have to heal in the best way possible so that you can fully reach the potential. Being the black sheep of the family is truly a blessing. Embrace it. Heal and find your purpose, and maybe use it to change life in the progress.